Welcome to another episode of the Little Radio Show. My name is Sandra Fernandez, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Juan Alanis and Anjelica Cazares, and we're bringing you small talk about big topics. In this week's episode, we talk about the ongoing controversy surrounding Mexican actress Kate del Castillo about her role in setting up the El Chapo Guzman interview. We discuss the pretty factor in Ford's newly unveiled F-150 Raptor, and we delve into our Catholic roots for discussion on what we do for Lent and why we do or don't observe the Easter holidays. Just a reminder that you can catch us every week on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central Time on hmsnetradio.org. Our show archives and the link to our iTunes and Stitcher channels are available at thelittleradioshow.com. Hi, this is Sandra Fernandez, and I am the publisher of HispanicHouston.com and one of your co-hosts for today.
And hi, this is Juan Alanis, and I'm also one of your co-hosts. I'm the co-founder of Juan of Words, and you can find us everywhere on Juan of Words.
And this is your third co-host, Anjelica Cazares, and I am the other co-founder of Juan of Words, also the founder of Raptor Thrifter.
And we're going to give you advance notice that both Anjelica and I are a little bit under the weather, so if you hear one of us hacking up a lung, don't worry, we're going to make it through the episode.
And, speaking of disclaimers, I do want to add another disclaimer of sorts. And just say that I want to introduce a topic, but I want to say that we're pre-recording this, so it may not be completely up to date to the latest on this. But I wanted to talk about. I think we've all probably heard, unless you're living under a rock, about the whole Kate del Castillo scandal with El Chapo and all the things that are being said about that relationship. Obviously, Sean Penn is involved too. And
so I don't know very much about any of this. So why don't you give us a little bit of, why don't you set the stage for us?
Absolutely. So Kate del Castillo has been under a lot of scrutiny, as has Sean Penn, because they were able to coordinate an interview for Rolling Stone with something that the government wasn't able to do. They were able to locate El Chapo and coordinate an interview with him, and actually record him on video.
They interviewed him.
Before him getting caught.
This is a guy that is at the top of every most wanted list of almost every criminal, of any crime fighting organization in the world. Mm-hmm. No one could find him. No one could lay hands on him. And here are these two entertainers who
entertainers at that.
Yes, not only were able to contact him, but were able to set up an in-person interview with him.
In-person interview, and he...
Mind you, he was, I think when they found him, he was in the Amazons of Mexico.
But
so he was in the jungles.
He managed to escape. He was in jail, he managed to dig a hole and escape like they do in the cartoons. And he got away. And then Kate del Castillo and Sean Penn were able to locate him, and they had a series of text messages back and forth where he was communicating with her directly and with other third parties involved, coordinating that meeting that they were going to come. And the hilarious thing is, he didn't even know who Sean Penn was. He was like, "Who's this guy?" And she was telling him, "Oh no, he's been in all these movies. Now he's a producer and blah blah blah." And he didn't even know who he was.
But you knew who Kate del Castillo was.
Oh, he was in love with Kate del Castillo.
So really quick, El Chapo is the Mexican drug lord who had escaped jail
for the second time.
And was in Mexico. And Sean Penn is an actor, of course, here in the States, big
he's
actor.
Also a journalist.
Yes.
Little known fact, he's also a journalist. Because a lot of people are like, well, he's not even a journalist, but he actually is accredited as a journalist.
Well, now he is. But so who's Kate del Castillo, for those who don't know?
Well, Kate del Castillo is a big time, I think probably one of the biggest
international star. Not only for Mexico, but she's international star.
But I think in Mexico, she's probably right now one of the biggest stars.
Well, definitely. But she's international. I read somewhere that she is one of the biggest stars.
Yep, and she was the star of La Reina del Sur, which was produced by Telemundo. She actually has a Netflix show that's in development right now. So I'm hoping that they'll keep the show.
And for those in the U.S., any U.S. Movie or show that's got some sort of female Mexican criminal mastermind, that is her. That's who they cast. She was in Weeds. She came on
Under the Same Moon.
Under the Same Moon.
Which was a very good movie.
They're very powerful, strong leading characters that she plays. I don't know if she plays him. I don't know if that's her in real life. That's why she plays it very well. But she does. I mean, even when she, in acting, even when she talks. So I'm gonna be really honest when I say I don't doubt that she kind of knew where she was. I think. Her, like if she came to me and was like, "Give me all your money," I'd be like, "Here you go," because she just has that thing. Well, I'll give you everything.
Let's roll it back to the Chapo.
So wait, there's a lot been said about the interactions they've had back and forth, because she was texting him, and a lot of people are saying that she was being flirtatious, that she was like, winning him on by like he was telling her like, "Hey, beautiful," and she was responding, "Hey, my dear friend," and there was a lot of these niceties that they were exchanging back and forth. And so now they're saying that she's under investigation, that she could potentially lose her American citizenship because she's a double citizen. She's an American citizen and a Mexican citizen. So they're saying she could potentially lose her American citizenship because she was. I guess could be considered as some type of form of aiding and abetting a criminal.
Okay, well, before she could lose her American citizenship, they actually have to find her guilty of something.
Yeah, and so they're investigating her, and there's two things. Like one of them is the fact that in the media she seems to be being villainized, and this is my opinion. All the pictures that you see of her, she's a beautiful woman, and you see all these pictures of her, the ugliest pictures you can find of her, where she looks so like vicious and mean, and these are the pictures you're seeing in the media. And
they're typecasting her in the pictures.
They're passing judgment.
And two, they're belittling her. They keep saying the telenovela star Kate del Castillo, like she's just nobody who just. And the reality is, Kate del Castillo is a film and international star, and she's not only a telenovela star, and she's been around for many, many years, decades.
So if you're going to criminalize her correctly, is that what you're saying? You can't just pass her off as somebody. She is a big someone.
Well, I'm not condoning what she did or didn't do, but what I'm saying is I don't like it. I don't like the fact that they're villainizing her and minimizing who she is. You feel like they're
giving her a bad rap. Yeah. That the media is taking sides against her.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think that the government in Mexico is kind of embarrassed because, this movie star was able to locate the Chapo before they were.
Well, here's a question, though. Is Sean Penn being scrutinized in the same way?
He is. He's being scrutinized, but I think because of the text messages between her and El Chapo, they were the ones really communicating, coordinating. It's really coming down on her harder. But the second thing that I thought was kind of interesting was that a lot of celebrities like Maribel Guardia and Gloria Trevi have spoken up and said, "Hey, you know what? She should not be embarrassed. She should not be afraid. She should not feel she was brave for doing what she did." And Gloria Trevi was like, "Oh, don't worry."
Who has been to jail?
She was like, "Oh, don't worry if the Interpol's looking for you. That I've gone through that. They've dealt with me." She's like, "We're friendly." And to me, with that, I was like, you know what? It's just like a Mexican woman is like, that's just, they're very like correct. They're very bold and they're not afraid to put themselves out there. So I was like, typical Mexicanas. All three of these ladies are just like, and what? And then what?
And what you're going to do now? This is what happened. This is what took place. Are you going to do more of it? Are you going to... what I like about... not that what I like or anything of this nature, because I don't condone, just like Juan, I don't condone what she did or she didn't do. And let's be really honest, we don't know what she did or didn't do. We don't know if she was there. We don't know if she set it up. I don't care if there is text messages. I don't care if there's emails. We don't know. Let's be really honest. But one of the things that attracted me a lot to the story was that capability that she had, that she was able to do, unlike anybody else in the world who was able, there's many people like can get a hold of him and knows who he is.
And the other thing is like her intention. Like I think she had publicly wrote a letter to El Chapo years ago where she published it on her social accounts, this letter that she wrote to him and was asking him to use his power for good, to do good in Mexico, so like she's kind of been she's kind of also kind of turning into kind of an activist in these couple of years where she's spoken out on different issues. So, part of it is like, who knows what her intentions was. And I'm not saying that it was good or bad, but it's just, like, I think that without really hearing the full story like everybody's kind of villainizing her. So I'm waiting for her to come out in 2020 and have like an hour to talk about what happened.
Yeah, and I think she might be waiting around to see if it dies down a little bit. But I don't think this is going to die down. Every time you hear Kate del Castillo, this is the story that's going to be attached to her. And that's, whether that's a good or bad spin that she might put on it, we'll see.
So, just to wrap up on this topic, though, he did get caught.
Yeah,
yes.
He's in jail.
But it wasn't related to that. It was almost immediately after, though.
Well, it led her, their exchange and their encounter, that's what led them to be able to find him.
You know what? I'm blaming Sean Penn. I'm blaming Sean Penn. Like, Sean Penn, what? How did that happen? Well, not that of course, if he escaped and he needed to be captured definitely, but they're dragging Kate del Castillo through the mud, and I don't know how much involvement she had or didn't have, and I think that's where I'm bothered by it.
I think we'll see we'll see how this novela ends up, because it really is like a novela it's turned into with all these different characters and all these investigations, but we'll see how everybody turns out.
Yes, I'm very delighted to see the movie that's going to come out after this, because there's going to be. So that's in this week's Just In Case You Missed It.
And let us know what you think.
If you're just tuning in, this is the Little Radio Show on hmsnetradio.org. Recently, I had the opportunity to attend the Detroit Auto Show. Well, that's what most people call it. What it's actually, the real name is the North American International Auto Show, or as most people call it, the NAIAS. I'm supposed to include a disclaimer when I talk about the experience, so here it is. My travel and accommodations were provided by Ford. No other compensation was received. All opinions are my own. Okay, that's done.
And how cold was it?
Oh, dear Lord. It was 18 degrees. 18 degrees and snowing. Yes. I never miss Houston so badly. I am telling you. There's a reason.
You're so grateful for those hot summer winters.
Oh my God.
For those hot winters.
I'm a Houston girl. I am. There's a reason why I live in a place where it's 101, 109 degrees in the summer, because I get winters where it's 47 degrees and I consider it cold. Yeah. It was 18 degrees in Detroit and snowing. All right. Of course. I only was outside for very little time. It's okay. It's fine. I'm good. In spite of the fact that I came back with a head cold, I'm good.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to be writing about some of the stuff that I saw for my blog. And by the time this episode actually airs, it'll all be on HispanicHouston.com. The one thing I did want to share, though, was I did get to see the unveiling of the new to be seen soon Ford F-150 Raptor, and it is a thing of beauty.
All right, Sandra, I'm going to look this up on the phone now.
Those trucks are so, they're just like...
Well, they're monsters. It's like a tank.
And the way they bring them out, the way they present them, it's so dramatic.
Well, we live in Texas, and in Texas, the best-selling cars are trucks. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm certain that trucks are popular everywhere or in other places, too. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I don't lust after the muscle cars, even though I think they're pretty. Yeah. What I lust after is the Escalades and the Tundras and the F-150s and 250s. And, so being there for them to unveil the F-150 Raptor with the full-size front and back seat, and you look inside, and it's a thing of beauty.
And they do a really good job of putting on the show, to when they present those cars. It's very even though there's a stage and there's a lot of...
Yeah, and oh Lord, now I'm gonna completely...
The unveiling of this vehicle, was it blue?
Oh, I don't remember the color.
Okay, because I'm looking online and I'm looking at the pictures and it's very pretty.
I'm a girl. I'm gonna write about how big it is and all the extra features and all that other stuff. Let's be real. I don't stand there and go, ooh, look at the size of those tires. Oh no, ooh, look pretty. And it's so pretty. No. I can't wait to get behind the wheel of one of these things and actually take it out for a test drive.
We were joking that a lot of other states, they admire the small cars. Here in Texas, we really are a truck nation.
Well, let me tell you, this thing is absolutely very roomy, but you look on the inside, and on the inside, all the bells and whistles. I mean, it's a nice truck, let me tell you. It's like not like you're going to be inside this thing going, oh, I am roughing it. Forget that. This is, all the way comfort in this thing. So I'm telling you, it's so pretty.
I like the way you smoothly dropped that hint in there. I'm so ready to get behind the wheel.
Yes, and so if there are in fact any people from Ford listening, I will be so happy to provide you with the first person. I took this for a test drive review. Just hint, hint.
Hint, hint. Not so subtle, but hint, hint. So I'm going to ask you, Sandra, what was the accommodation that you think it would provide for like a consumer, or what whistle did you like best?
There's a lot of power in this truck, and I'm very fond of that gas pedal.
That really murmur gives.
Yes, I drove a V4 for the longest time, and let me tell you, I don't miss it. And then there's the comfort and the inside, and like you were saying, the space. It doesn't feel cramped.
Oh, I love that.
It doesn't feel cramped inside. So I was able to, they had one in there. We were able to open the doors and get inside and sit in it and, take some pictures and all that stuff.
That's not good enough. You want to be able to drive it.
I really, really do. I want to drive it. And, that should tell you something, that I'm not here talking about the Mustang or the new Fusions or the driverless cars that they unveiled, about which I'm probably going to write. I'm talking about the Ford F-150 Raptor because it was a thing of beauty.
And it's been a few years since I've been to the NAIAS show, but that show is so well done, and they have so many cool vehicles across the board.
And unveilings?
Unveilings, and everybody's unveiling something.
Yes.
And, there's so many cars, and they have the futuristic cars, and I think that's my favorite thing. Is to
the cars with the butterfly.
Yep. And there was one year that they had, I don't know if they had it this year, but they had one year where you could I think there was the outside of the vehicle. You could put you took a picture of yourself, and you could put your own image on the outside of your. So you were the cover of the car. I didn't make it to see
every car, so I don't know if they had that, but they did have NAIAS itself. They had. And I went through and they had, the Volkswagens and the Fiats and the other stuff. But I was telling my brother, who's more of a car enthusiast than I am, they had cars there. I had never heard of the brands.
Really?
These were luxury cars. These were, oh my God, if I don't spend anything for the next 5 years, I might be able to afford it cars. And then, of course, there were, the BMWs and the Cadillacs and the other stuff. And all very, very pretty. But they had, in some areas, cars where I'm like, these don't look... I don't recognize the name of the car, the name of the brand.
But every automaker that's there at the auto show is putting on a show.
Yes, absolutely. But, again...
So there's bright lights everywhere. There's spotlights everywhere. Sweetie, there's the motor girls, was it all that?
And one of the things I am going to tell you that I was very pleasantly surprised that the quote-unquote conference girls that they have showing the cars are very pretty, but they're very tasteful.
Okay.
Fully clothed.
Okay.
Well, it's not just fully clothed, but they're very tasteful. Because I've been to the other shows, and let's just say that you can tell the difference. No girls in bikinis here.
So NAIAS, we appreciate the not the conservative, but the pretty girls who are deemed conservative.
And for everyone else, it's trust me, it's supposed to go on sale towards the fall of this year in the U.S. and Canada. As I understand it, it's going to be built in Motor City.
Wow.
But the Ford F-150 Raptor is really, really pretty. At least take a look at it.
Well, when you're driving it around, we're going to definitely be riding with you. For those of you just tuning in, this is the Little Radio Show on hmsnetradio.org. You can catch the show every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Time.
Next Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, and if you're not Catholic, you may not understand what that means. But for those of us who are, it means it's the first day of Lent and the season that leads up to Easter. I am not the most devout Catholic out there, I'm going to be honest. But I do observe Lent every year, and that for me means that I do something, I give up something and observe a sort of penance for the days leading up to Easter. Usually it's something like I give up chocolate, or one year I gave up coffee. A couple of years I actually gave up meat for the entire Lenten season, which was very interesting. Last year I was very, very bad and I didn't observe Lent at all.
Okay.
I didn't. I went to church on Easter, but I didn't actually do anything. This year, I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do, or if I'm going to be a very bad Catholic like I was last year. But the fact that Lent starts on Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, for those of us who live in Houston and anyone who lives anywhere in the country, you know that means that Mardi Gras it ends on Fat Tuesday, which is the day before. It does. And if, in case you don't understand the significance, Fat Tuesday is, Fat Tuesday is the last day that you can have all your fun, because Lent starts the day after. It's a Catholic thing.
Yes. And it's like a 6-week, 40-day period, right? That you...
Yeah, Lent, yes.
Yep, you give up something... that you normally, I guess that you...
And there are no parties. I mean, traditionally what happened was there were supposed to be no parties. It's supposed to be a more somber life leading up to Easter. So in Galveston and in New Orleans, they have Mardi Gras, and so there are all these activities, and it starts and it goes up to Fat Tuesday with the king cake and everything, and then you go into Lent, and my family, we're Catholic. This is what we do.
Let me ask you, what's the significance of it for you? When you give up for Lent, what is the significance of it to you?
Well, because I don't go to church every Sunday, and there's many things on which my personal opinion differs than the Catholic Church, and about which I tend to be disappointed with the Catholic Church on. For me, observing Lent every year is my statement that I am still Catholic. That despite my personal, the ways in which my personal opinion may differ than the church to which I belong, I haven't abandoned it. I am still Catholic. It's my thing that I do that reaffirms that I haven't actually left the Catholic religion.
So it's like a reaffirmation of your faith.
Yes, for me.
Okay.
And that's absolutely what I do. And I have looked at other religions. I have looked at other things, and I don't know if it's a nostalgia thing or whatever, but I find comfort in the act of doing these things. And even when I go to church and go through Mass, there's something about the rituals and the things, the going through the Mass and the processions that actually makes me feel calmer. Yeah. And I've come to the decision that in the end, that's what's important to me, is that in fact I feel a tie to it.
Yeah, and for me, I've never, I go back and forth on Lent. Like some years I have tried to actually committed to giving something up, and then other years I just what, I'm just don't have the discipline.
Well, do you eat meat on Fridays during Lent?
I always forget. I don't mean to, but I just forget.
And I try very hard not to forget and to observe to only have fish on Fridays.
Yeah, well, see, I forget. And when somebody reminds me, or when it comes into my consciousness that it is a Good Friday, then I try not to eat meat. Yeah. But most of the time I just forget, and I just eat whatever.
¿Y tú, Anjelica?
I've had conversations with actual some other Catholics, because me and Juan are also Catholic as well. For me, it's my observation is sort of heightened. I observe it in other ways. I don't necessarily... I have given up things in the past that I completely give up, completely and totally. I've given up... One year I gave up soft drinks, like soda pops, and so on. And I don't drink them anymore.
Okay.
But what I do... It's... Again, it heightens my awareness of what the purpose... not my purpose, or what the purpose is. It stops being so much about what I want and what I feel, but what the necessity that's outside of me. And not necessity I'm going to help my sister. No, the actual community world necessity. There's so much more out there that I can be doing, that I can be giving, and I give up. A lot of the times it's sort of giving up my needs and giving for Lent at least, and giving more to that of not what is needy or what is needed, but what I feel that it's not so, I don't know what word I'm looking for, it's not so self-indulging.
Well, it's kind of an awareness of like if you're giving up like a meal, like a certain meal, or if you're giving up, it's like you're recognizing there are people that maybe like kind of like that can't have what you're giving up.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. Like sometimes it's electronics or the need to be on Facebook in the morning. It's like, no, I'm going to stay off of that not because I don't think anybody else can have Facebook, but because I can be maybe...
El face.
I can maybe be thinking of other things. And that's where I think I get my calm from afterwards. I definitely love those 40 days. I definitely love, Lent, because the self-awareness, the not the necessity, not the needy of out there, but what you can actually, like, I don't know, maybe what I'm trying to say is what it is to really be human.
Well, for me, it's an affirmation that I'm still Catholic, and I understand where you're coming from. That it makes you aware that there are people out there doing without, not out of choice, but because they have
necessity.
Out of necessity.
Well, maybe what I'm trying to say is that there's such a different connection, though. There's so much more to a connection to the actual like human species. Like when we watch like the Animal Kingdom, and we watch like a bunch of Netflix shows and Hulu shows and things like that, and one of our favorite shows is the Alaskan Frontiers or something. They're so like connected to each other, and they don't like have. They're so missing like the phones. They're missing other things.
It's like a realization of like the connect how we all are really just human beings at the end of the day.
It's the emotional connection. It's the actual human connection that we have with each other, which is what I observed during Lent. I said all of that to say that.
I like to go to Palm Sunday because I do like the procession there. I like what happens and the way that it's presented, and I grew up in the valley, and in the valley we had a big church where everybody would go to, and then they would actually do the
Via Crucis,
and so you would see it, and it was like
there's a church here in Houston that does that.
So that's the kind of thing I like, and so like also like on Ash Wednesday when you go and you get the cross, the ashes. I mean, I like those things because they remind you like of why you're doing it, But it is to me it is like kind of what you were saying, like going back to that, like you're connecting, like it's you're getting like it's an awareness of some sort that you're.
I think Sandra said it best. Sandra said it best for a second, where she said it's kind of nostalgic. We have this conversation, me and Juan, when we go to church. Juan like insists that we go to the Spanish service, and I insist we go to the English because I understand it better in English as opposed to Spanish. But it is true. In the Spanish service, I feel like I know it more. Like it feels like home or something.
Like when they're doing it in English, I just can't. I'm like I understand English.
I didn't learn my prayers in English.
Well, I understand what they're doing and everything, but I just can't. Like my brain won't process. I'm just like I don't get this. I need it in Spanish.
We're all Catholic here, so there's no, I don't agree with you or whatever, but for everyone out there, Easter if you're Christian, then Easter proper has it's a very big part of your religion and what you believe in. So this is actually for a large segment of the population, a big deal. Not everyone is Christian. Not everyone is Catholic.
Correct.
Everyone has different beliefs and other things.
But the majority of Latinos are still Catholic to a large degree.
Fewer than ever before, though, and more and more Latinos are leaving Catholic religion.
Is that so?
Yeah.
No, but even at that, it's still like they still have the largest hold on the Hispanic, Latinos.
Well. Wednesday is Ash Wednesday. And for all of you out there who will be celebrating it, I hope you're able to celebrate it in the way that you normally do.
So I want to, really quick, what I do want to do is, what do you give up for Lent? If you are Catholic or if you are Christian or if that's something that you observe, and what do you give up? And if you're not Catholic, I want to ask you, is there something that you do, that you observe that sounds similar, that you disconnect or connect or give up? And what is it that you do?
Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Little Radio Show. We invite you to check out our iTunes channel and our Stitcher channel and to leave us a rating or a review. You can find both links at thelittlерadioshow.com.